Okay, guys, so that movie was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious levels of disturbing together. Oh my gosh. I like David Franco, and I don't know who the other girl was, Millie, who played Millie. But gosh, you guys, I don't know if this is a horror movie or a romance movie or a comedy, a romantic comedy, man. God, this movie was had so many layers of just like what the God dang, like okay, so the premise is two, people, they leave from an old town, then they go to a new town, where they live together. And basically you can kind of tell that David Franco's going through some type of really bad trauma with his family. Basically, he lost his mom and his dad. His dad was dead. His mom was in a bed with him, and his mom couldn't even believe it. And either his mom went to a crazy home or she also died. But I think David is just going through whatever type of trauma he's going through. He's trying to get back to himself, and this has caused a rift in between him and Millie's relationship. And basically, they're not having sex. They're not being close like they used to. They're very distant from each other. And there's like little subtle things with the movie where like I don't know, they'll walk at the same pace when they go take a hike, or they're wearing the same clothes, or just even the way that they frame the shots is basically telling you like they're gonna be together. They're supposed to be together. And I think a lot of it was possibly talking about like a level of toxic relationships, how like we can rely on each other too much, or like how we can have a little bit of a codependency when it comes to relationships. But also it's just like how relationships are beautiful and how we can help each other, and how we need to express to each other, like pretty much how we feel about each other and communicate and try to come together instead of letting each other fall away from each other. But it's also about being able to let go of the person, which in the movie they couldn't let go. Once they went to like this area where there were like these cult people, David Franco, I can't remember what his name was in the movie, but his name, David Franco's character, he drank this water that was in that was laced with this blood of a cult church, and they even made a joke about it in the movie, talking about, oh, mass suicide. What is really what happened is basically some cult people in this town all got together and died together, but basically it's just that whatever happened to them when they went into there, it started causing them to become closer, meaning like they couldn't separate from each other. They woke up, his leg was connected to her leg, and every day they just became closer and closer. It's just like they couldn't help it. Every time they try to go to sleep, he woke up with her hair in his mouth, and she's thinking that he's just being weird, and he was the one that was having the symptoms at first, but eventually they both were able to see what's going on. And I will say the special effects really sold it. The camera angles really sold it. The actors were great. And I knew the teacher. By the way, you guys, this is a spoiler review. You probably already know. I have to put that in the title, but it was honestly better than I expected. I'm really not a big horror movie guy, because usually horror movies are like stupid, or like it's like, why would you put yourself in this situation? But this is one of those horror movies where it's kind of unavoidable. Once you're in the situation, there's no way to get out. And it ended on a bittersweet ending, because the only way that they could get out of this situation of coming together and being stuck to each other was either they die, one of them dies, or they just let go and allow themselves to become one. And that's basically what happened at the end of the movie, is that they became one. And I guess they just became, you know, pretty much accepting of like the cult's beliefs, and pretty much understanding that they need each other. They needed each other to survive at the end of the day, because when Millie went over to the teacher's house that was also a cult leader, he ended up cutting her wrist, down the bad way where she would have bled out. But David Franco's character went ahead and let himself be connected to her, so that way they can bind, they can become one person, and that way she was able to heal, and so, they didn't die. But yeah, guys, this is a crazy movie. I would say, I wish I didn't spoil it with the way I delivered it, but yeah, this is definitely, I guess, my review of this movie. It was good, and I would definitely watch it again. But it was definitely disturbing. But it just made me think about my relationships and like how I felt about my partner and stuff like that, and like how you can feel like you can't breathe without them. You can't, you're thinking about them all the time and all that stuff. And it just makes you think like, okay, maybe I should just take a break and focus on myself for a little bit, and not try to rely on some other person to fulfill some type of thing inside my life. But at the same time, it was kind of sweet. It was a weird way to experience, but like I'm telling you, it was disturbing as heck. But also, it was kind of sweet. But it was a funny movie because David Franco, just like what's his name? Dang, I can't even think of Harry Osborn's name, his real name. James Franco. James Franco, James Franco, he be in a lot of comedy movies too. We haven't heard about him since he's been in some type of scandal, but it's cool to see David Franco. It was cool to see him have a little funny moments in the movie and still have these serious moments, and for him to be a little bit vulnerable with the way he had his delivery. But yeah, I would say you could go ahead and check out this movie if you haven't checked it out. Tell me what you guys think if you have seen it, because this is crazy. Was not expecting any of that. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. This is Son Yonatan back again with another review. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.